naka-charge. Kasya ba yung gasolina mo? Baka mahigtanong ka. Ay, tapos kay kawawa naman. Hindi pa yan umaano. Yung pangalan nito, iniihi. Ako, ano, kaya dami-dami buhok. Ilalagay yung buhok nila. Yan na. Ano ko muna yung aircon, hininaan ko pagdating na lang, tsaka magkagdamag na naman yan. Hindot na nga, no? Ang kuryente kay 8 mili. Dali mo muna rin. Ay, baka maihian yung ano eh. Dali mo muna rin. Dali mo muna, baka maihian lang. Baka yung bag kasi puntahan eh.
No.
Igalan mo muna na. Igalan mo muna yan. Hindi eh. Palayo. Ako puntahan mo. Stop! No! No! Si Kuma hindi makababa. Pag tao si Kuma hindi nakakababa.
No.
Dami-dami buhok.
No, no, no.
Ayaw kasi diakit. Ayaw kasi diakit.
Umihi na.
Umihi na, buti naman.
Malapit sa TV.
Eh, nasa mo na nga, baka pumunta din sa ilalim ng TV. Umagos pa. Umagos pa sa TV eh.
Umagos na ata.
Umagos na?
Ewan ko.
Akin na namang aanihin yung TV. Wala siyang ano. Oh, bakit? Ano na ba? Teka, ako. Nasaan ba? Nasaan? Nasaan? Wala akong makita.
Baka umagos eh.
Umagos na nga yan. Ikay! Ano gagawa mo dyan? Hawakan mo rin.
Ha? Ba't pa ganyan? Mas lalo nga ano eh.
Ayun na. Sige dyan. Ikay! Magkakakit doon. Magkapaan mo ba? Ito naman baka makit si Kagay sa taas. Sigurado. Uy, nakuha na naman yung ano ni Teya. Yung pang-ipit ni Teya. Hindi naman, no? Nakakawa na ako umiihi.
hello, good afternoon everyone. Dito na ba si Mr. Parungaw and Miss Garcia? I am waiting for the file. I asked you yesterday sa SRC. Please send the file ASAP. Thank you. Again, Mr. Parungaw and Miss Garcia. Please send the file I'm asking sa clinical chemistry ASAP. Thank you. Pasanda lang sa messenger ko.
Wala pa naman sila.
Okay, I will wait for it. Thank you. So let's wait for your other classmates. No, the discussion will only take around an hour, and so we will not really maximize the 2 hours schedule. So you can rest before the rationalization of the AUBF, AUBF or para
Kaso hindi na.
exam by Ma'am Rachel. Okay, so meron kayong rest period between our makeup class and the meeting later for the rationalization. Okay? Siguro pagka 3/4 na yan dito, we can start already. Kasi we cannot wait for everyone. Baka iba niyo makarating pa. So let's wait for the rest. Thank you.
Nagsilayas. Wala nang buhok masyado. Pagka hanggang... Ano eh. Hindi siya mapakalit. Hindi siya mapakalit. Itaas natin ang konti. Makaawa, hindi umiihi. Wala kang nila pa. Look. Teka, ilaw. Sayang kuryente. Takot na naman ang babayaran ko. Kuryente sa kanila. Nagtanding ng mga tuwa.
As for today, for our discussion today, we will cover the introduction to toxicology and toxic substances. Okay, actually, this is the last synchronous class because after the introduction for toxicology, I will provide you with the last handout. Okay, a combined handout of toxicology and summary of therapeutic drugs and the therapeutic drugs and its indication. Okay, it's a summary already. Okay. Today is the last synchronous class or last online class natin. Okay, kasi sa clinical chem ha, okay, because in the coming meetings, we will just schedule our quiz okay, based on the topics finished and based on the topics with handouts provided. Okay? Tapos class, the schedule of your final examination, nag-request na ako kay Dr. I requested already kay Dr. Cruz. Okay? Your expect that your final examination in all my subjects will be in the first part, okay, ng ating week-long final exam. I'm just waiting for the final schedule kasi nag-request ako na either May 19 or May 20 or May 21. Any of the 3 days. And I will be the proctor. Okay? kasi I'm not available already ng May 22 onwards for proctoring. Kaya nag-request ako na mas mauna yung subject ko for the exam. Okay? Kaya para alam niyo, okay, so that you are aware, okay, na mauna ang clinical chemistry at ang virology lecture, okay, sa ating exam. Okay? Ano yun, across two campuses, pati sa SRC, mauna yung subjects na handle ko sa lecture. Okay, sa lecture. Okay, ilan na tayo? 70.
Kamusta?
Okay, so ayun, at least alam niyo yung magiging arrangement for the final examination. Mauuna ang clinical chem at ang virology. Okay, for the final examination. Request na kasi ako for that. Hindi na ako available ng 22 onwards. I have other commitments already. Okay, so I think we can start now. Ilang ba tayo? 74, yeah, I think it's already enough.
No. 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 Okay, no. Palo ka sa akin, palo. No, 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 no. For those who came in late, okay, makakapasok lang. Okay, this is the last synchronous class we'll conduct because the last remaining topics, okay, okay, are already prepared in concise notes. Okay, so ito pa yung ating huling discussion, informal discussion sa clinical chemistry. Sa virology, tuloy pa rin tayo with virology discussion. No? Okay? But for clinical chemistry, we will schedule quizzes na lang after specific topics and specific schedule for the examinations. Okay? Para alam natin. Sige, may papasok. Let's wait for the others. May papasok pa kasi. Passwords na. Okay, I think we can start now. Okay, so let's first have a short prayer before we start our makeup class for today. Last makeup class and last formal class for clinical chem. Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Dear God, bless our time together today. Grant us wisdom to understand, and patience to learn, and kindness to support one another. Guide our thoughts and actions as we study and grow together. And as we ask, Amen. Or as we pray, Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Okay, so again, good afternoon, class. So for this discussion, class, we don't have a prepared handout for this, so you need to take down notes. Okay, if you want to take picture, you may take picture. Okay, as our topic today, okay, is all about introduction to toxicology, toxic substances, okay, and agents. Okay, and then after the discussion today, I have prepared already the last concise notes for your last part of clinical chemistry 2 for your materials for review. Okay, so please type yes if you are ready for the discussion. Okay, yes. So for this part, last same arrangement tayo. Okay, if there's a need to reinforce or to pause, I will do, and I will further explain if there's a need. As if you have a question, hyper question, then I will pause and I will answer. Okay, so let's discuss toxicology, specifically the toxic agents introduction. As wala tayong handouts dito, so please, you may take down notes or you may take picture. Okay. The introduction part only. So please prepare your ball pen and your paper. For I will give you time to copy. Okay. Last topic is an introduction to toxicology and toxic agents. So let us now discuss. Okay. So for toxicology, let's first define terms. Okay, terms. Okay, so what's the first term? Okay. Toxicology. So what is toxicology, class? Okay, so toxicology is a branch of science which deals with the study of the substances introduced exogenously into the body. Okay, so when we say class exogenous, these are substances from the environment, substances from nature, that are introduced in our body. These substances may be toxic, or these substances may even be poisonous to man. Okay, so basically, these substances are studied as they are present, as these are present inside our body. Okay, that's toxicology. Okay, so remember, toxicology is also concerned. It is also concerned, okay, with determining the presence of and levels of these natural substances in our body. Again, toxicology is also concerned with determining the presence and levels of natural substances involved in the normal body function or present in our body. Okay? So remember, class, in toxicology laboratory, determining the presence is somewhat a qualitative method, and determining the level is somewhat a quantitative method. Okay, so therefore, in toxicology laboratory, we are after the presence using qualitative method, and after establishing the presence of the natural substance, we now measure the level, for the substance using quantitative method. Yung glass. So just to emphasize on that, in toxicology laboratory, before we determine the level of the toxic agent or poison or toxic substance that we are after, the first important step is always to detect the presence. And how do we detect the presence? By doing qualitative tests. Kapag nag-positive sa qualitative test, that is the time when we measure the concentration of the poison or the toxic agent or toxic substance in body fluid using quantitative method. Okay, qualitative muna before quantitative. Diba? Using quantitative method. I will admit yung mga pasok sa atin. Okay. Okay, so that's it. So for the etiology of the term, so toxicos meaning poison use, and logos, which means study. Okay, that's toxicology. Okay, so let us now proceed. There are four major disciplines. Okay? By the way, I forgot to mention, okay, a person who specializes in the study of toxicology is known as a toxicologist. Okay, a toxicologist can be a medical doctor, he can be a medical doctor, or he can be a scientist, or medtechs who are specializing in toxic substances. Okay, so there are four major disciplines in the study of toxicology. We have four. Let us first enumerate and then later let us briefly discuss. We have the mechanistic toxicology, we have the descriptive toxicology, we have the forensic toxicology, and we have the clinical toxicology. Okay? Mechanistic toxicology, descriptive toxicology, forensic toxicology, and clinical toxicology. Okay, so let us discuss each. Okay, let's now discuss each. Let's start with mechanistic toxicology. Okay, so mechanistic toxicology, basically focuses on following. So elucidates the cellular and biochemical effects of toxins. Okay, so basically, in the mechanistic toxicology, the key term here is mechanism. Okay, mechanism. So in this branch of toxicology, the mechanism of action, or the effects of toxins to the cells, and of course, to biochemical process. Yun ang focus ng mechanistic toxicology. Okay? So, with this branch of science, or with this branch of toxicology, provide a basis for rational therapy design and the development of tests to assess the degree of exposure of poisoned individuals. Okay? So basically, class, since we are after the mechanism of action of toxins in this discipline, so therefore, this is useful for therapy design for those who are exposed to toxins or poisons. Therapy design, therapy management of people who are exposed to this toxins. And since also we are dealing with mechanism of action of the toxin, this is also a branch or is also helpful in the diagnostic aspect of determining the presence and exposure of these poisons to individuals. Okay, nakuha natin? Kasi di ba kasi member in diagnostic medicine, diagnostic science, in determining the presence of these toxins in an individual, so we need to collect body fluids, we need to collect blood, collect a certain samples or specimens from the patient, right? So if we know the mechanism of action of these toxins, plus yung malaman yung mechanism to further identify the body fluids that should be collected or should be tested. Plus, just to emphasize, merong gap sa recording class. Now, the importance of knowing the mechanism of action of the toxin is for the clinicians to determine what appropriate specimen or what appropriate sample must be collected or must be tested to determine the effects of the toxin into the patient's body. Okay, that's the importance of mechanism, right? And in the pathophysiology of the effects of toxin or poison to the patient's body, yung mechanism of action is one critical aspect to determine yung proper management at yung proper design ng therapy ibibigay sa patient who had been exposed to such agent, toxic agent. Okay? And how it will be tested in the laboratory. Okay? Next, we have descriptive toxicology. Okay? So descriptive toxicology, okay? Class, do you have any questions in mechanistic toxicology? So class, basically, tatandaan natin ang key term that doon ay mechanism. So yung poison or yung toxic substance is already in the patient or na-expose na yung patient. Kaya class, in pinag-aaralan yung effects, yung mechanism of action or yung effects ng toxin or ng poison or ng toxic substance in the patient. Okay, if you have any questions with the first branch of science, please type B if number 1 is clear. Type B if the first part is clear. Please type B if number 1 is clear. Okay, claro. So far, let us proceed with descriptive toxicology. Okay? Uses the results from animal experiments to predict what level of exposure cause harm in humans. Example is risk assessment. I am sure the class you are familiar with animal trials, clinical trials using animal sample, diba? So I don't know if you have seen this post in Facebook. I think you've seen it. Okay? Marami kayong time, di ba, Facebook kumpara sa amin. Kasi syempre kayo, study yan online, so nakakasilip kayo sa Facebook. I think nakita nyo, no? Yung mayroong listahan plus ng mga companies or mga brands that undergo animal experimentation or animal trial. Okay, di ba meron ito eh. Ito is posted by an animal advocate, animal rights advocates online, okay, and they listed yung mga brands na gumagamit ng animal for trials. Okay? Yung shampoo, cosmetics, pabango, lotion, etc. Okay? So, ito class ko fall in descriptive toxicology. Okay? They use animal as models, okay, for the trial. So remember that the biologic system of animals, okay, are the systems inside the animal, okay, are comparative or somewhat similar, okay, to humans. So therefore, the effects in animals may be similar in effect to humans. Okay? Kasi remember that whatever substance, whatever product, whatever given to humans, lahat yan tumadaan muna sa trials. And bago ang clinical trial, bago ang trials sa tao, nauuna muna yung animals. Okay, nauuna yung animals. Okay? So therefore, nagagamit in descriptive toxicology in assessing yung risk ng mga substance na ito to humans. Okay? Whether it's cosmetics, beauty products, novel drugs, even vaccines, lahat yan, okay, should undergo trial. And for this branch of toxicology, it's under descriptive, develop a descriptive branch. Okay, so what is the use of descriptive toxicology? Okay, it provides a basis for rational. It provides a basis, okay, for determining whether a substance okay, is beneficial or it is harmful to man. Okay, so of course, okay, descriptive toxicology, okay, the results of descriptive toxicology is used, okay, for the regulation also, for the regulation of many products and whether it's food, whether it's anything that is given to man. Okay? And in our government, the regulatory body for that is FDA. a Food and Drug Administration, or FDA. Okay, so FDA is the one, okay, that is responsible for allowing, okay, a product uh, to be available, okay, in the public, okay, for public utilization. Okay, so mga results ng descriptive toxicology trials, yan, okay, is used as a basis whether ang product is beneficial or harmful to the end user, who is of course the consumers. Okay? Just to add class in the descriptive toxicology, kasi diba may mga products na may mga warning signs na can cause allergic reaction, or diba? Or some precautionary measures. Okay? So basically itong mga precautionary measures or mga warnings, these are based on the trials done. Okay? So, at saka naka-indicating class, diba, sa mga products, yung mga ingredients that may cause allergic reaction, okay, to man. Okay, example, plus yung may mga products na may egg white or albumin, okay, naka-indicate doon. Okay? Yung mga products na may mga biotin, okay, yung mga supplements, okay, saka-indicate doon. Okay? Para rin class, syempre, kasi class requirement ng FDA na klase yung label dapat nung container, or yung label class nung mismong brand or nung mismong product, okay, must contain complete information on the product itself. Because remember class, may mga tao na allergic or hypersensitive on certain agent, may mga individuals din class na mayroong reactions on certain chemicals. Okay, kaya mahalaga class. At lahat ng ito, lahat class ng information on the product, okay, was basically based on the trials, okay, conducted on animals, and usually animals muna, and then of course clinical trials on humans. Okay. Do you have any questions with regard to descriptive toxicology and its utilization? Okay, please type C if descriptive toxicology is clear. Type C, that's for the third. As even vaccines, of course, because vaccines undergo clinical trial. Okay? As lalo na yung vaccine. Kaya nga kasi very important, yung consent, whenever trials are carried out. Okay? Tapos may nag-record pa. May nag-record sa... Saan nag-record? Recording. Record. Group reporting. Yes. As was reporting, may I ask, report? Wala naman. Bakit na nag-report ka? Like 44. Okay. Gawin natin class bro. Okay, so let's continue class with the next type of yung akas natin nga rin, diba? Pati yung vaccine as ay kailangan mag-undergo ng FDA approval. So, lahat ng kinoconsume, lahat po ng kinoconsume ng general public, yung tayo, we are called as consumers, diba? Kasi we are the end user, diba, of the products, okay, being sold in the market. So lahat po ng binebenta sa consumers na kinakain, iniinom, ayan class A, or pinapahid, ayan class A, whether ano yan, ointment, pampaganda sa mukha, pampaganda ng putis, yung ini-inject, lalo na class A, lahat po yan dapat dumaan sa FDA for approval. Okay? Pag walang FDA class approval, pag walang FDA approval, mas huwag kayong bibili. Kasi malamang class yan, that is, kung hindi po yan illegally sold, class baka yan ano pa yan class, baka harmful pa yan. Kaya mahalaga class talaga na you always check the label and you always purchase on legitimate class, tsaka yung mga maayos tindahan class kay. Nowadays, online stores are a common aside to see diba, sa Facebook pa lang sa mga diba, sa mga social media, TikTok store, di ba? So be careful kasi huwag kayong bili ng mga kung ano-ano sa sale, di ba? Kasi mura, sir, kasi sale, mura, buy one, take three, di ba? Buy one, take two, di ba? Kasi good deal yun, di ba? Pero plus dapat as consumers, kayo rin ay maingat sa mga binibili nyo. Lalo na if you will drink that or if you will consume that. Kasi ba, okay? Baka may mga harmful ingredients yan na pwedeng makasama sa inyong katawan. Okay? Kaya mas napakahalaga no, magbabasa kayo palagi ng label and make sure na legitimate yung inyong binibilhan. Okay? Yan po yung inyong hahanapin palagi. FDA approval. Okay? Sa mga kapatid nating Muslims, yung di ba, they look for the halal seal. Yung sabi ng halal seal, wala siyang halong pork or wala siyang halong mga substance or agents na bawal sa kanila sa mga Muslims. Ang tawag yung halal, di ba yung halal seal. In general naman, para sa lahat, yung FDA approval. Dapat plus, you can check online plus yung FDA website. You can type plus, you can type the name of the name of the brand or the name of the product you are using or you are purchasing. So to check if the product is FDA approved and safe for consumption. Okay? As pag hindi po yan FDA approved, please don't you don't you even think of consuming it or don't give it to your family or whatever. Kasi risky. It's too risky class to take kapag po walang FDA approval. Okay? Kaya kasi napakahalaga nung iba, always check the label of the product and bilang consumer, dapat we must always determine the value of our purchases, the value of our money, hard-earned money ng inyong mga magulang, hard-earned money ng inyong mga kapatid na if you are still also working for your hard-earned money, so class, mag-iingat po. Huwag papadala sa mga mura, di ba? Kasi mga murang bilihin kasi nakakatakot, risky kasi ang pagkabila. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, so let's proceed. Tanong kaya, let's check. Okay, walang klaro so far. Let's proceed with number 3, forensic toxicology. Next is forensic pathology. Okay, forensic pathology. So forensic toxicology. Okay. In forensic toxicology, it's primarily concerned. Okay. proceed test for the direction. Okay, let me share my screen again. Proceed. Forensic toxicology. Next is forensic pathology. Okay, forensic pathology. So forensic toxicology class toxicology. Toxicology. Okay. So in forensic toxicology, it's primarily concerned with the medical legal consequences of toxin exposure. Okay? So pag sinabi natin class medical legal, di ba? Merong legal implications. Ibig sabihin class, pwedeng gamitin evidence in case may kaso, okay, or may possible cause ng may possible na murder, among others. Okay, so forensic toxicology actually is under forensic pathology laboratory. So yung nagko-collect ng mga body fluids sa mga victims, ina-analyze kung poison ba yun, kung nalason yung patient, or nagpakamatay ba yung pasyente, o pinatay, and all. Okay? So with forensic toxicology, all of this can be analyzed, can be determined kung pwedeng may foul play, kung pwedeng gawing evidence on certain cases. Okay? So in forensic toxicology, it focuses on establishing and validating the analytic performance of the methods used to generate evidence in legal situations, including the cause of death. Okay? Kasi yung mga operatives, yung so-called, the crime operatives, PNP Crime Lab, yan, merong forensic toxicology doon. Okay, ano pa? Yung sa Amerika, yung CSI, yung crime scene investigation, that is CSI, diba? Yung mga forensic experts, yan, they also use toxicology in establishing this. Okay, class, just to emphasize and just to add more to it, FYI, okay, class, in the PNP crime laboratory, okay, class, the ones doing the wet lab, the bench work on the examination of the fluids or the evidences taken from the victim and even from the suspect. Class, okay, medical technologies po ang isa sa mga preferred nila class na maging staff or maging personnel in the crime lab. Okay, mga chemists, tsaka yung mga medical technologists. Kasi class, we are good in performing laboratory procedures. Okay, so and we have graduates, plus meron tayong graduates from the Manila and Makati campus. Okay, and soon from your campus sa Malolos, okay, baka gusto nyo mag-apply sa PNP Crime Laboratory, so kayo yung gagawa ng mga tests, okay, to determine yung cause of death, yung mga fluids taken from the victim, kung if it's poison, if it's a toxic agent, or which could probably killed the patient or the victim. Yan. Tapos mga medtech po ang isa sa mga preferred nila na mag-staff. Pero syempre, since PNP yan, okay, kailangan nyo muna mag-undergo ng training kasi you are considered as a reserved officer kasi kayo. So pag kailanganin ng PNP ng additional manpower or workforce, as mga reserve kayo pag kayo yung trabaho sa PNP. So, syempre, kailangan physically fit din. Okay? Then, and I know some graduates, my former students who are now working in the PNP Crime Lab. Salary-wise, it's good. Mataas class ang sweldo nila. Okay? Maraming benefits kasi it's a government agency. And the job is a lot different compared with the nature of work in the hospital setting. So if you're the type of person who likes adventure and who likes to solve problems, eh, and hindi kayo yung type na gusto ng routine work, gusto na yung everyday there's a new challenge, and you want to be part of the government as a police officer and also as a medical technologist, you might want to consider working in the PNP crime laboratory. Okay, I think hindi lang po sa Manila ang crime lab. I think bawat region may mga crime laboratories kasi doon ginagawa yung testing. Mga medtech po ang prefer nila. Magandang sweldo daw. Ayan, so i-share ko lang sa inyo. We have graduates who are actually working with the PNP crime laboratory. So they are under the forensic pathology laboratory. Kasama sa forensic pathology laboratory yung forensic toxicology. Okay? Yung case and class alam niyo ang forensic forensic pathology where forensic toxicology is part of. Okay. Ano kasi yan, it's connected with medical legal, di ba, sa PNP. So, pag kayo class makapasok sa PNP crime lab, okay, ano kayo class yun? Agad, second lieutenant. Okay, and mataas, kasi ano kayo degree. Kasi pag 4-year degree holder class sa police, sa PNP, tsaka sa sundalo, okay, sa army, ano yung automatic second lieutenant, po, kasi degree holder. Okay, tapos kayo ay magiging reservist. So, kailangan nyo mag-train paano umawak ng baril, tapos combat, survival, okay, para pag nangailangan, kasi yung mga reservists yung i-deploy to help the government groups. Okay? So, magiging uniformed personnel kayo. Tapos, medtech pa. Sa mga gusto ng kakaibang trabaho, ibang line of work. Okay? Same din, laboratory work, pero it's more of the medical legal aspect or forensic aspect. Okay? Yung ni Christine Lucena, diba yung Lacerna? Lucena. Yung namatay na flight attendant. Okay, di ba? So the example class ito yung si Christine Lacerna, yung flight attendant ng Philippine Airlines na namatay, di ba? It was sensationalized, di ba? Toxicology class ang isa sa mga nag-solve sa problem sa case na yun. Last year, January, pagkatapos ng New Year, ay unang naging issue. Yung namatay, actually, forensic toxicology, yung forensic toxicologist, yung nag-analyze ng mga evidences to determine kung may drug overdose, diba, kumuha ng samples kaso ang problema, during that time, if you follow the case, diba, na-embal na yung katawan, so nahaluan na ng fixative, formalin, diba, na nalagyan man ng chemicals kasi na-embal na yung katawan. So that would affect the result of the toxicology. Okay, kaya ang mahalaga, sa forensic toxicology ay forensic medicine in general, okay, hanggat maaari dapat hindi ginagalaw yung katawan or yung mga evidences dapat ma-maintain as is. Hindi po pwedeng ma-alter or hindi pwedeng ma-apektuhan kung ano pa man. Kasi strong evidence yan kasi yung mga results na kinakonduct sa mga fluids or sa mga specimens na nakukuha sa sites ng crime scene. Okay? So, forensic toxicology yun, very helpful also in establishing the possible cause. Okay. So, uso yun sa mga mayayaman yung mga nilalason, kasi may mana, di ba? Yung mga napaparoon natin sa telenovela. Di ba? Kasi unti-unting nilalason, ay na, tapos milyon na isang, di ba? So, ayun, pwedeng ma-establish kung nilason o hindi through forensic toxicology. Okay? Next. Clinical toxicology. Does you have any questions as regards to the forensic toxicology? Please type D if maliwanag yung forensic toxicology. Please type D, class. Type. Okay, klaro so far. Let's continue. Okay, this is a study of interrelationships between toxin exposure and disease states. Okay, so in clinical toxicology, the correlation, okay, of exposure of a person to toxin and its correlation with disease state and establishment. So yung connection, okay, ng toxin or ng substance, okay, with the pathogenesis of a disease, okay, or the pathophysiology of a condition is also established in this field or in this branch of toxicology. Okay? In clinical toxicology, okay, it emphasizes not only in the diagnostic testing but also the therapeutic intervention. Okay, since kino-correlate yung exposure sa substance with pathogenesis or pathophysiology, so this is useful for intervention, therapeutic intervention purpose. Okay? Sa mechanistic toxicology, kanina, yung number 1, diba, ang purpose niya is used for establishing therapeutic management, diba? Management, kasi diba yung mechanism of how it affects the cells, the biochemical process. In clinical toxicology, it's on the intervention part. Okay? Therapeutic intervention part. Okay? So that's it. So that's for clinical toxicology. Okay, class, do you have any questions with clinical toxicology? Please type letter E if clinical toxicology is clear. Okay, klaro so far. Let us continue. Okay? Question? May pakicopy na? Okay. And by the way, class, clinical toxicology in the laboratory is under the chemistry section. Under siya ng clinical chemistry section because the methods used in establishing yung mga toxic substances, yung mga methods both qualitative and quantitative, okay, are best suited in the chemistry section, okay, in the chemistry area. Okay? So, parehas halos yung mga methods na nagawa sa ibang mga analytes and that of toxic substances. Okay? So, let us proceed. Question, section A. Matapos na tayo. Sabi ko sa inyo, make lang ito. I'll make it short. Okay, kasi meron kayo para rin makapagpahinga rin tayo. Okay? So, next, we have exposure to toxins. Okay? So, we have 3. We have 3 common exposures. Okay? Toxins. Okay? So, we have first, intentional or suicidal attempts. Okay? So, when we say intentional or suicidal attempts, okay, self-exposure to toxins. Okay? Intentional. Okay? The person, okay, intentionally exposes himself to toxin. So, this usually performed usually in suicide attempts. Okay? So, yung individual malagok ng muriatic acid, malagok ng bleach, whatever toxic substance, toxic agents, nilalagok, o kaya drug overdose, malagok ng isang boteng pills, isang boteng kung ano pa man na gamot. Okay? So, remember, suicide has the highest mortality rate, okay, among individuals who are exposed to toxins. Nakuha natin? Okay. By the way, these 3 I am talking about, okay, these are the various reasons for exposure to toxins. Mamaya, baklas yung route of exposure pala. I stand corrected on that. Okay, again, so the 3 I will discuss, these are the reasons, okay, for exposure of individual to
toxic agents. Yung mga reasons bakit na-expose yung tao.
Once again, so given the staff, given numerated information, the next slide will provide information on the reasons why an individual may be exposed to toxins or to toxic agents. Okay?
Toxins. Okay, I would like to clarify that. Okay, so first, yeah, intentional. So, person exposes himself to toxin, okay, for suicide attempt, okay, or to kill himself. Okay, so this is the highest, okay, in terms of mortality rate amongst people who are exposed to toxin, on suicide. Okay. Next, we have accidental exposure. Yeah. So this is more frequently seen or most frequently occurring among children, mga bata. Since they don't know the substance, especially yung mga 2 years old, diba? Yung mga 1 to 2 years old, kung ano yung mahawakan, susubo, kakainin, diba? Kung ano yung mga iinumin, they don't even know kung ano yung substance na yun. So that's it for common among children, yung accidental exposure. Okay? And finally, homicide or occupational exposure. Okay? So homicide, unintentional, okay, or occupational exposure. Okay, exposure sa industry, sa workplace, yeah, a workplace, so that is occupational exposure. Okay? So, drug overdose, drug overdose, okay, I mentioned earlier, di ba, can be also accidental. Di ba? Sabi ko kanina, it can be part of suicide attempt. Diba? Pero klase member, drug overdose can also be accidental in nature. Let me clarify that. Okay? Hindi lang siya for suicide attempt. Kasi, diba, may mga cases na paminsan, okay, yung mga gamot, okay, nadodoble yung inom kasi magkakamuka, magkakakulay, magkakahugis. Okay? Kaya ang tendency, yung ibang mga patient, lalo yung mga matatanda, okay, yung mga malabo mata, nauulit yun ang nagdodoble yung inom, okay, sa mga binibigay ng doktor. Okay? And that is accidental. Okay? Paano siyang accidental? Okay? Kaya nga, mahalaga yung physical characteristic ng gamot, okay, para ma-avoid yung accidental drug overdose. Kaya may ibang gamot may kulay, iba yung hugis, iba yung packaging, iba nung drugs, okay, nung mga capsules, nung mga pills na binibigay. Okay? That is so to prevent drug overdose. Okay? Iwanan po yun, section A. Okay, class, is that clear on exposure of toxins? So the first one, the intentional type, yung making toxin available to one's body. Intentional kasi yun, that's suicide attempt. And has the highest mortality rate sa mga tao with exposure to such toxin. So it's something that is caused by the person himself. Okay? So, pag inom ng class mo sleeping pills, sobrang
Hindi ko na-record.
sobrang pag-inom ng gamot, yung class, sadya. Okay. Tapos yung drug overdose din, pwedeng sadya para matuluyan yung individual or pwede class accidental. Okay, kasi lalo sa mga matatanda, okay, na nagkakaroon ng, kasi may malabo na yung mata, plus or naguguluhan sa similarities ng packaging, magkakulay yung packaging ng gamot, yung shape ng gamot, etc. Kaya kasi mapansin nyo, di ba, yung mga gamot, as they have a unique shape, mas meron silang unique packaging, meron silang unique shape, meron silang class distinct characteristic para tas hindi magkaroon ng problema whenever iinumin ng individual kasi posibleng doble, pwedeng mag-cause ng adverse effects kasi. And that is accidental. Okay? Do you have any questions with this? Please type letter F if this is clear.
Type F.
if it's with them.
That's F. Okay, thank you for responding.
Kasi sa tatlong yan, ang pinaka-common as the highest class na mortality yung number 1 ay yung suicide intentional. Okay, mag-inom ng muriatic acid, drug overdose, and para patayin yung sarili. Suicide. Okay, so let's proceed.
Okay, let us continue. Yes, for occupational exposure, saan ito madalas nangyari? Sa mga agricultural settings, yung mga farmers, yung mga nagtatranim class, diba, nagmagamit sila ng pesticide, tsaka ng insecticide, so na-expose din sila. Okay, sa mga toxins, sa mga substances from the products na ginagamit nila to kill the pests, the insects, right? Also, sa mga industries nga, like what I mentioned earlier. I don't know kung nabalitaan niyo right last time, medyo matagal na, 3 years ago, bago pa ang pandemic. Nagkaroon ng case between this factory of cement, ay mga gumagawa ng mga semento yung klase, saka sa yung mga may buhangin. Kasi class yung mga manggagawa nila tsaka yung mga nakapaligid sa kanilang nakatira sa kanilang factory somewhere in Bulacan yata yung place. I forgot the exact location. Naka-develop sila ng sakit sa baga. Kasi class they have exposure sa mga asbestos, ba? Yung mga asbestos. So yung asbestos na inhale nila, tapos yun cause ng di ba? Particulate yun, asbestos. So accumulate sa baga nila because of their exposure. Tapos malapit sila sa pabrika. Tapos sa pabrika, nag-i-emit ng mga asbestos. Siyempre, that is part of the ingredient ng yun, yung paggawa ng semento. Okay, so, nag-file sila ng lawsuit against the industry kasi naapektuhan yung health ng mga, not just of the workers, but also of those people living near the factory. Okay, that is occupational. Okay, po yan, occupational. Okay. As another example, just to add to the example class, okay, is exposure of farmers to organophosphate. As if you can still remember, enzyme acetylcholinesterase. Okay, ba class? Okay, exposure of farmers to organophosphate, which is present in insecticide and pesticide, can also lead to adverse effects, okay, to the individual who had been exposed to organophosphate. Okay? Ano pa class? Sa clinical laboratory, diba tayong lumayo? Sa clinical laboratory class, yung mga medtech staff, saka yung mga laboratory technician who are working in the histopath section. Class, I don't know kung may histopath na kayo. Pero class, diba, in histopath section kasi, diba, we work with various types of chemical reagents, diba, formalin, benzene, chloroform, acetone, alcohol, yung class. So, exposure to volatile reagents could also lead to toxin exposure. Okay? Kaya very important yung PPE, lalo na class yung face mask. Okay? When you work in the histopath section because of the volatile chemical agents that are present in this section. Okay? Let's proceed. Kahit hindi ka man nagkatrabaho sa lugar nito, pero malapit ka sa pabrika, pwede ka rin expose. Okay? Kaya napakahalaga ng compliance ng mga industry, ng mga pabrika before they are allowed to put up their factories in areas na may mga nakatirang mga tao.
Lalo na kasi yung mga gumagawa po ng mga semento, yung mga graba, at mga asbestos containing agent, diba? Plus, marami yan sa Plaridel, sa lugar na yan, kasi marami kang mga pabrika ng semento, kaya maalit ang buong lugar na yan. yung planetary bypass road, pag tumadaan ako dyan,
Wala pa tayong gawa,
ako papuntang SRC at or pabalik ng Malolos. Marami dyan class. Okay? So yung kapag naging airborne class, kapag sinangin yung mga alikabok na yan, so di ba, we can directly inhale that. And class, kapag class chronic exposure, pwedeng mag-accumulate ka class sa baga. And ayun class, pwede magkaroon ng mga respiratory diseases, respiratory
Finalis ko yung consent.
conditions.
Pinaiwalit.
Yung nakakalanghap. Kaya class, kung ikaw ay nakatira sa tabi ng pabrika ng mga semento or gumagawa ng mga buhangin, graba, or mga asbestos, containing substances, okay, at risk ka talaga. Okay? It's because of the exposure on a daily basis. Okay? Kaya
Yung mga sinagot.
dapat merong certain compliance yung mga pabrika para hindi affected, lalo na kung malapit sa community yung mga pabrika, di ba? Okay? Kasi it can cause, it can lead to respiratory conditions, respiratory abnormalities, di ba?
Okay, let's now proceed. Okay, with the routes of exposure. Sabi ko kanina, so for the routes of exposure, we have, okay, so class ingestion, this is the most common, the most often route of exposure of a person, okay, to toxins. Okay, so in the clinical setting, pinaka-common ng ingestion. Okay, so remember class, okay, for a toxin or for a toxic substance to have systemic effect, it must be absorbed into the circulation. So from the intestine, okay, it must be absorbed, okay, into the circulation para mag-cause ng systemic effect, okay, sa human body. Okay? So kapag class hindi absorb, kapag hindi na-absorb sa intestine yung mga toxic substance, it can cause local or localized, okay, effects in the GIT. Okay, so pwede magkaroon ng diarrhea, diba, yung person na naka-ingest ng toxic substance, pwede magkaroon ng bleeding sa intestine, okay, mag-manifest yun sa stool, diba, makikita sa stool, okay, na may bleeding, and or magkaroon ng malabsorption syndrome in the intestine. Okay, and remember class, ulitin ko ha, pag walang absorption ng toxin in the intestine, there is no systemic effect. Kasi kailangan ma-absorb at mapunta sa circulation yung toxin para magkaroon ng systemic effect. Okay? Okay. Next, inhalation. Okay, so for inhalation, the toxin or the toxic substance must be in gas, okay, or volatile form. Okay, small particulates, okay, small particulate toxins or toxic substances may also enter the body through inhalation. So the respiratory system is directly affected. The pulmonary tract is affected by exposure through inhalation. Okay, and of course, transdermal absorption, skin, okay, through the skin. Kasi makapanood natin sa mga alabas, yung mga kontrabida, para makasiguradong tigok yung musong patayin, anong ginagawa? Hindi na pinapainom yung laso, hindi na pinapainom, hindi na binibigay orally yung laso. Anong ginagawa? IV, di ba? Pag IV kasi last, 100% circulation yan. Kapag kasi di ba pag-ingestion, hindi fully ma-absorb yun, yung toxic substance, di ba? So with IV, intravenous, ayan, 100% nasa circulation yung toxin. Okay? And by the way, what is the organ that is directly affected or directly damaged when toxic substance are absorbed into the small intestine? Plus, syempre, yung liver. Diba?
Ilalagyan ko na.
So the liver is, di ba, remember class, if you could still remember CC1 as SEM, diba? First pass, diba? If you could still remember first pass, diba? So first pass, if you could still remember that, let's have a brief discussion on first pass, diba? Whatever we ingest, whatever is absorbed in the intestine must first go to the liver. Ang tawag doon, first pass. So si first pass, so first pass, it's the mechanism wherein the liver would check on the substances, on those that are absorbed. Okay? So the toxins can readily destroy the liver, especially yung high dose ng toxins. At low dose, the liver can detoxify this. Okay? Pero at high dose, sisirain lang ng toxic substance yung liver. And from there, it can circulate it into the different organs. Kaya si liver ang isa sa pinaka inaabusong organ sa katawan natin. Okay? Bakit liver ang isa sa pinaka inaabuso or the most abused organ in our body? Because the most abused drug is alcohol. Okay? So, dahil ang alcohol ay inaabuso maraming tao, so si liver na nag-process ng alcohol na iniinom natin kasama o siyempre naabuso rin. Okay? So, the liver is one of the most abused organs in our body. Kasi alcohol is the most abused drug. Okay? Drug. Ang alcohol po ay drug. Remember. Okay? Kasi diba, by definition, anything that could alter the normal function of the body or could cause effects in our body is considered as a drug. Okay? Next. Okay, class. Do you have any questions as regards the route of exposure to the toxic agent? Okay, kung walang tanong, please type G. Please type G kung klaro. Type G
Tama lang.
klaro po yung route of administration. So, IV is always 100% plus bio-absorbed and it's always fully available. Kaya plus
First person.
kapag ang gamot ay binigay through IV na class A, yung buong gamot na yun in its unaltered form is used by the cells directly because it is introduced and given through the vein. Okay? So, kapag naman class, ingestion na class, kapag kasi ingestion, marami ng alteration sa form ng drug or ng agent. Dahil nga, syempre, di ba, maraming enzymes sa GIT, di ba, may yung acidity, the acidity of the gastric fluid, di ba, the basicity of the intestinal fluid, tapos plus yung mga organism, di ba, yung mga gut organisms, okay? So lahat ng yan, the normal flora given as can alter the form of the drug. Okay? Ano po yung route of administration? So ingestion as ang pinaka madalas na route of exposure sa clinical setting. Okay? Kasi lalo sa mga bata. Okay? Kaya very important na lahat ng mga gamit sa bahay na panglinis or whatever, kailangan nakatago. Kasi pag maabot yan ng bata, baka bilang inumin or baka bilang isubo, di ba? Tapos yung mga hindi naman dapat kinakain ng mga agents sa bahay, okay? Pwede makalason bata or pwede maka-cause ng severe effects or worse death. Okay, sige, let's discuss oral dosage. Walang tanong so far? Okay, walang tanong. Let's continue. We have oral dosage. Okay? So for oral dosage, class, since I mentioned that ingestion is the most common, most common route of administration or exposure in clinical settings. So let's discuss, okay, three, okay, three oral dosage, okay? So we have ED50, ED50, and LD50. Okay, so let us define ED50. Okay, so ED50 is also known as effective dose. Effective dose. It is the dose of drug in which 50% of treated individuals will experience benefit. Okay, will experience benefit. Okay, please copy. Okay, class in ED50, okay, this is considered as the dose that would be predicted to be effective or have therapeutic benefit in 50% of the population. Again, ED50, okay, is the dose that would be predicted to be effective or have a therapeutic benefit in 50% of the population. Okay, that is ED50 or effective dose 50. Next. Okay, next we have the TD50. Okay, TD50 or the toxic dose 50. It is the dose of drug in which 50% of individuals will experience toxic adverse effects. Toxic adverse effects. Please copy. Okay, as for TD50, remember, this is the dose that would be predicted to produce a toxic response in 50% of the population. Again, TD50 is the dose that would be predicted to produce a toxic response in 50% of the population. Nakuha natin yun, it's TD50. Next. LD50. Okay. LD50, okay, is the dose of drug in which 50% of individuals will result in morbidity. Okay? So remember, class, LD50 is monitored, okay, if the response that is being the response that is being expected is death to those who will take the substance. Okay, that's LD50. Okay, so LD50 is also the dose that would predict death in 50% of the population. Okay, 50% of the population. LD stands for lethal dose. Lethal dose. Okay? Siyempre, class, hindi naman yan ginagawa sa mga tao, di ba? Yung LD50, hindi naman yan, yung lethal effects, hindi na, di ba? So, hindi na pinapaabot dyan. So, usually, class, ang ginagawa yan sa mga, mga laboratory animals, mice. Okay? Mga laboratory rats, mice, ginagawa yan. Okay? Pero sa tao, hindi pa naman, hindi pinapaabot dyan. Kasi yung makita yung mamatay yung tao, di ba? No. Abot. Okay? Tingnan natin, class. ED is effective dose, PD is toxic dose, and LD is lethal dose. Okay? So, another thing, that's another term, is right, okay, wala ko sa PowerPoint, is therapeutic index. So, what is therapeutic index? Please write. Therapeutic index, is defined as the ratio
Di pwede.
of the
Nagre-record.
TD50 to the ED50. Again, therapeutic index is defined as the ratio of the TD50 or the toxic dose 50 to the ED50. Let's please look at your chat box. Thank you. Or the effective dose 50. Okay? Ayun class yung therapeutic index. Question. Okay, class. You have any questions as regards to oral dosage? We have effective dose, toxic dose, and lethal dose. Class, kung walang tanong, please type H. If we can now proceed with the last part of the discussion. Okay, klaro so far? So let's continue. None? Okay, let's now. Okay, last part. This is our last part. I told you it's a short discussion. Acute and chronic toxicity. Okay, so basically, class, these two terms are used to relate the duration or the period and the frequency of exposure, okay, to observed toxic effects. Again, acute and chronic toxicity are terms used to relate the duration or the period and the frequency of exposure to observed toxic effects. Okay? So let us now discuss each. We have acute toxicity. Okay? As when we say acute toxicity, okay, this is usually associated with single exposure. Single short-term exposure. Ito kasi sinasabi nila na one-time, big time. Okay? Isang exposure lang, toxic na agad yung effect. Okay? So, single exposure lang, tapos short-term, like short period, pero the dose, yung dose ng toxic substance is sufficient or enough to cause immediate toxic effects. Yung one-time big time na sinasabi nila. Okay? So, class, in acute toxicity, okay, the manifestation of clinical symptoms and signs are immediate, abrupt or sudden, yung manifestation. Okay? And short-term lang exposure. Pero, meron agad indicators. Example nga class yung mga nagpapakamatay, yung mga suicide attempts, yun. Talagang, kumbaga, yung talagang gusto mamatay, talagang sigurado nila nang mamatay sila. Yan, plus, ayun, they make sure na patay agad sila. Okay? Kaya, yung dose, yung lason na tinitake nila, ay talagang tingin nila sapat para mamatay sila. Okay, sabi niya class may sabihin niya, kung gusto talagang mamatay ng tao, diba, ang iti-take ay maramihan, pero kung kukunti lang, hindi talaga yun mapapakamatay. Baka may ibang intention or whatever, diba? So doon nalalaman ng mga investigator kung meron ba talagang intention mamatay or may ibang pakay, diba? So gusto mga nag-suicide, ayan class, acute toxicity. Sino pa? Tapos yung mga accidental exposure na sample sa mga bata, di ba? So, hindi naman nila alam kung ano yung substance na yun. So, nilago, kinain. Yung vacuuming class, yung para sa daga, example, di ba? Kinain lahat ng bata. So, pwedeng mag-cause ng acute toxicity, independent, di ba? Sa mga na-expose. Okay, next is chronic toxicity. It is usually associated with repeated, frequent exposure for extended periods. Again, usually associated with repeated, frequent exposures for extended periods. Okay? That's in chronic toxicity, okay, the dose, okay, of the toxic substance is insufficient to cause immediate acute response or immediate toxic effects. Okay? So, madaling sabi class, okay, in chronic toxicity, gradual, unti-unti. Okay? Paunti-unti class yung toxic effects sa tao. Hindi agad-agad manifest. Kasi nga yung dose ng toxic substance mababa kumpara sa acute. Sa acute toxicity class, mataas yung dose sapat na para magkaroon ng immediate toxic effects. In chronic plus gradual, progressive, cumulative, at yung manifestations ng clinical signs and symptoms. So, example class, yung mga nagtatrabaho sa pabrika, sinabi ko kanina, di ba? Hindi sila agad-agad mag-develop ng yung mga nagtatrabaho sa mga pagawaan ng mga semento, ng mga buhangin, diba? So hindi sila agad-agad na-develop ng respiratory syndromes or respiratory disorders, paunti-unti. Okay? That's just an example. So, example nga yun, as sinabi ko nga kanina, diba, yung industrial exposure, okay, ng mga workers at even ng mga nakatira near the factories. Okay? Also yung mga farmers, diba, yung mga gumagamit ng pesticide at insecticide, they also develop chronic toxicity. Okay? So, kapag gumagamit sila ng pesticide or insecticide, okay, para pamatay ng peste, that is chronic, pero pag ininom nila yung pesticide or insecticide, that's acute. Gawa natin. Okay? So, kung gusto mo agad madedo, kailangan acute toxicity. Okay, ang mangyari. Kailangan mataas yung dose. Kapag chronic, paunti-unti yung dose. Okay? Patikim-tikim hanggang sa umabot sa point na magkaroon ng toxic effects. Okay, class. So, do you have any questions with acute and chronic toxicity? So, sa acute, single short-term exposure. So, class, yung dose, maramihan. And the dose is sufficient para mag-cause ng immediate effects, toxic effects, dun sa individual na exposed. Okay? Sa chronic toxicity, class, gradual. Okay? Repeated, frequent exposure. So, mangyayari, class, para magkaroon ng toxic effects sa individual, mag-accumulate muna. Kasi yung mga toxic substance to the level na pwedeng mag-cause ng toxic effects dun sa body. So, class, chronic toxicity, yung dose ay mababa lang, pero class, may frequent exposure. So, example, yung mga nagtatrabaho sa industries, nagtatrabaho sa mga pabrika. So, class, sa acute toxicity, ito yung mga accidental, tsaka yung mga intentional exposure, mga suicide, tsaka yung mga na-expose ng mga bata sa mga toxic agents. Okay? Do you have any questions with acute chronic toxicity? So, pag acute, class, do you have abrupt or sudden yung manifestations ng toxic agent? Okay? So, yung chronic class, kapag chronic class, it's gradual yung mga manifestations. Okay? So, do you have any questions with this first topic or the topic that's been absorbed? Please type your question now. Kung wala pong tanong, please type now.
Pag ako nagpa-check, di ako makakain yan. Pag nagpa-check ako, di ako makakain yan.
Ako din.
Masakit araw mga ilang araw. Pantay na sa'yo eh. Pantay na. Yung akin lang. Okay, may pantay na.
Okay. Yes. So just also to emphasize, no, class, between acute and chronic, syempre, kasi acute toxicity, yung may mas mataas na mortality. Kasi kasi kapag sudden yung, mas usually kasi pag acute toxicity class, kay mataas yung concentration, di ba? Para kasi mag-manifest ang acute toxicity, dapat plus mataas yung concentration, tapos one-time, big time, diba? Isahang exposure, kaya plus kay sudden or abrupt yung manifestation. So, yung chronic toxicity class, paunti-unti class, tapos nag-accumulate siya in the body until such time na mag-manifest na plus yung clinical symptoms and signs. No? So, acute has higher mortality than chronic. Okay? Okay, so nothing class. I will post here the last handout for clinical chemistry. Okay, so in the handout you will find the last of the discussion on the toxic agents, heavy metals, class, tsaka yung mga non-essential trace elements, class, di ba? Di ba yung trace elements, class, yung mga essential, na-discuss natin last midterm, di ba? Yung iron, di ba, class? Iron, zinc, di ba? Zinc, selenium, and others, di ba? So, mga ano yung class, zinc and copper, and that's mga ano yan. Somehow, meron yung mga, di ba, meron yung mga, meron yung mga contributions in our family. Okay? So, this zinc, di ba, class, cobalt, etc. Diba? As, in your notes, you will find the discussion on mercury, yung mga non-essential. Mercury, yan, plus lead, yan, yung mga yan, plus wala yung contribution sa katawan. It's all toxic. Okay, mercury, lead, yan, plus, okay, among others. Right? So, I will share it here now. Please check and then please download a copy for your class computer or for your device.
Kasi gawa na number.
Ayan.
I-interpret mo siya in a descriptive
Yan. Can you now see the file? Please grab a copy. Please grab a copy now. Meron na po. Okay.
Pero wala kang ginawang computer.
Okay, let's do this by section. Okay, please confirm kung nakita nyo na. Section A, section A main, meron na kayong copy, nakita nyo na. Please type yes kung meron na. Section A, main, yes. And section B main, meron na kayong copy. Section B main, yes. SRC, do you have a copy now? SRC, you have a copy now. Okay, very good. So everyone has a copy already. Okay, so as promised, okay, I will give you time to prepare for your next activity. Thank you for attending our makeup class for today. Okay, and you may now rest and you can prepare for your rationalization.